Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. Family, I come today never hearing Neely Fuller's words so clearly in my spirit. And what Neely Fuller says is sometimes you have to avoid yourselves at all costs because you're poisonous. Meaning we're a poisonous people. We have, and not to anything other than to ourselves. Boy, that sounds horrible. I think there's a lot of emotional, and I think because black people are in such an emotional state right now, we feel like such a defeated um, purpose and condition that it's easy for us while we have this vulnerable state for people to come in and take extreme advantage of us, whether it be an outside community or even within ourselves. Um, One of the tactics of the enemy is to withhold information and to wait to an opportune time, maybe when something else is a focal point, and to release the other information so you'll have it all enmeshed. And it's both of them are so powerful, you don't know which stimuli to react to. That's very it's a very old tactic used by the enemy, and it's used within ourselves in our own community. I wanted to talk about three people who have a lot of influence in our community, who at this point I'm really questioning this the psycho I don't know, maybe the development of black people's psychic when it comes to their blind loyalty, when it comes to our intelligence, when it comes to our ignorance level, and when it comes to our just lack of knowledge and unwilling to do the research, or if it's just that we just roll with anybody just because they're black, whether they're stealing from us, whether they're lying to us, um, and then we'll justify it by saying at least they're not white. Well, I can't do that. I'm not from that school. I'm too old for that. That's foolishness. I'm gonna start with my good brother Umar. A lot of you are on this channel right now because the first video I did about Umar Johnson. Um, and let me say this before I go in, because somebody might say, "Well, what's your credential?" Let me just say this first and foremost. I'm not a woman who's weak and hasn't been raised. I was raised by a father. Okay, I have 8 brothers, and I was raised by a father, so I'm not easily manipulated. Neither am I easily influenced or easily, well, I guess, manipulated by men. Period. The behaviors, the bullying tactics, and the just wretched behavior that sometimes can define itself, so-called define itself as alpha behavior, which is no more than bullying behavior in most cases. The point I'm trying to make is, I was raised by a very strong, brilliant black man. If you want to check my credentials. In fact, I always suggest to you to get the book by the Princeton professor, and I think his name was Bill Patrick. And the name of the book is called uh, Milwaukee, Selma of the North. Okay, and you can check my pedigree. My father Ali is in there, and you can kind of see the kind of man that he was, and you can kind of see the kind of man that raised me. So you'll know that I'm not going to be easily impressed or easily influenced by somebody named Umar Johnson without him, because my bar has been set real high. It's not a low set bar. Okay, so the brother can't come in and tell me any kind of stupid stuff and just have me say, oh, really, really? I'm not built that way. Okay? My father also ran a Muslim Mosque Incorporated here in Milwaukee. Okay, yes, indeed. Um, and was an integral part of the early inception of the Nation of Islam right here in the city that I live in. Okay? So we're going to start right there, and I'm going to leave that alone. But all I can say is, you're not dealing with a weak-minded chick, so when you start doing stuff to make me say, ooh, this sounds like some narcissism, then I'm going to have to call it out the way I see it. I'm also a person that had the privilege of listening to Jim Jones give one of his last speeches, or a few speeches before he had took everybody over to Guyana, because people start being suspicious of him, just like they're being suspicious of a lot of these so-called leaders in our community, and they start being investigated about money and how they are embezzling people's funds. And in some cases, like in the case with Jim Jones, he took the people over to Guyana, and the rest is history. So I'm very, very sensitive to narcissistic people. I'm very, very sensitive to men who take advantage of women. And vice versa, women who take advantage of men. It goes both ways. So I don't want y'all to think I'm on some kind of sexist trip, because I'm not. I'm for right, and if it feels right, and if it's right, then I'm with you. And if you up onto some crap and some BS bullshit, count me out. Just count me out. And if I find out that you on some bullshit and you behind me, then I'm gonna call you out on your shit. I've been raised that way. I have no alternative. And at this point in my life, at the age I am, I really don't give a damn who cares, because I'm too old now to hold stuff in. I'm not doing that. And so my questions again become with Umar Johnson. Last time I talked, it was just a stripper in question, and everybody thought it was just because he had sex with a stripper, and that was to show me just how low level they were thinking, because it wasn't the act of sex itself that was so repulsive to me. What was repulsive to me was the character of Brother Johnson, telling people that he don't want nobody, he wouldn't want any woman around him that looks like Beyonce with the blonde weave and things of that nature. And then when you get caught with someone, she not only doesn't have blonde hair, she's took it a step up. She had white hair. That to me, or taking advantage of a woman who has 3 sons. Okay, so I know you was talking that Hotep stuff to her. Okay, it just so happened she's using you too, so you both deserved each other. But what got me was when you got busted, and when the stuff came out, you went on this vitriolic rage about her. Oh no, you called her names and you didn't take responsibility right for your behavior right away, and you start calling her names. You should have just took that L and shut the hell up, because that to me made me come out and do a video about you, because I saw your character. And so what got me about you, I've been keeping an eye on you, see, brother, since I first met you. Whoa, boy, way back here in 2004, 2005. And just like your distant cousin, Terrence Bailey said, he told the truth about something. The Frederick Douglass, A Family Initiative, this is the book that they give everybody that they meet. Everybody. And I'm going to address that question that you said. All you got to do is ask them one question, because back in the day, you used to say you were a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass when I first met you. When I told you, I'm going to bring it up again. This video going to be a little long, you guys, because I'm sick of this craziness. And I put on this program. As y'all can see, this is Brother Dr. Cameron. He's since passed. He is the brother that has that famous picture with the two brothers hung, and there's one noose that's empty. This is my brother, my godfather, James Cameron, my mentor. He escaped. He subsequently went back and was pardoned. But my point of the whole matter is, he was pardoned before he died, I think, or something to that effect. The fact of the matter is, he said, we're not being treated as equals. We're only being tolerated. Okay? He's a KKK lynching survivor. And when I put on this program, when we put on this program, we invited, I don't know if you guys can see this. Gosh. Let me see if I can. And it's right here where my finger is. This is Frederick Douglass. This is Frederick Douglass the Fourth right here. Right where my finger is pointing. That's him. That's Frederick Douglass the Fourth. This is the famous picture. That's the Frederick Douglass right there. That's his great. And when I began to tell Umar, and this was Saturday, May 28th. I can't remember. Anyway, make a long story short. Umar Johnson told me that this guy was a fake. And it turned me off. I've been turned off from him ever since because I put up with Frederick Douglass IV. And his wife BJ. We entertained them. We took them around the town. We got a history lesson. And this is the book. They had 1 million of some of these printed out, and everybody that is a direct descendant that is in the Frederick Douglass Family Initiative made it a point to want to pass out 1 million of these books to children, 1 million children. This was the book that was passed out to my daughter by Frederick IV. I think he even signed it. In here. But the point I'm trying to make here is this. When Umar told me that, when he said that to me, and right away called this guy a fraud, and out of all the research we did to get them to come in and bring this big program together, I was totally taken aback because I smelled narcissism. And trust me, I know what it looks like. So as I begin to start doing some investigation about Brother Umar Johnson, he is just not who he seems to be. He seems to have, and we are so gullible as a people. When I first met Umar Johnson, he was Umar Abdallah Johnson. I never heard of no Ifantunde. That was never part of it. He never even mentioned anything. That was like years later. He became Infantunde. But there is a Umar Abdallah Johnson who's an Arab who has a degree. And who is Jermaine Shoemaker? So why would you change, or Shoemake? Why would you change your name from Jermaine Shoemake to Umar Johnson? When you're dealing with narcissism, people like York out there that's in prison, federal prison now, or people like Jim Jones who killed all the people and made them take the drink, and those who realized that they were now involved with a sociopath, even though a psychopath, even though their family members had tried to stop them before they got too entangled with them. No, it was too late. Even the ones that tried to escape, y'all know it was too late because you knew what happened to them. And this is what a lot of y'all remind me of, because you're too afraid to handle the truth. Black people are too irresponsible. We are too damaged from slavery to be following anybody but ourselves. We don't have no time to look outside ourselves for nothing. The only thing we all need to be doing is getting into therapy. If that conversation And the character of Umar did not come out when he was arguing with Seti. Because Seti didn't change. He is who he is. That's how he performs. But to see the good doctor supposedly perform that way, and then to insult my intelligence again in a so-called apologetic video to make up even further lies as if I'm stupid and don't know if somebody is calling somebody and you're faking like you're on the phone. See, one thing about a narcissist, he's very slippery, like an eel. If you stop him with one lie, they got another lie lined up. You will never, ever, 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 ever corner a narcissist. Y'all don't understand how deep and how mad narcissism really is. Obviously you don't. And my people are going to perish for the lack of knowledge. That's why y'all going to perish. And because your blind faith and willing to be led, you're going to be led right to the slaughter. Because if you cannot prove to me why people in Philly is saying that Umar Johnson was sleeping with married women and how he ran through women in the school system, and there's a lot of things about him that y'all just constantly giving money because you've been given emotionalism like an elixir. Because somebody talk a good game, and I'm not impressed with that because my mother is an educator. Okay, so, and I knew about kids being M-teamed and Title 19, and I've been part of I ran a group home. I can tell you everything about policy and can put together any kind of policy that you need in terms of, in your state, running a group home. That's what I do. My point to try to tell you is this. The information that Umar is taking, I'm not going to knock anything about that. I'm not going to say it's not valuable information. But for the most part, Umar is just going around the country preaching and taking people's money. Because I don't know, he hasn't even convinced me that he is who he says he is. And y'all just like blind guides. No matter how much controversy come out about a person, you'll continue. Because I'm not done with the controversy. I'm going to do 2 of them. I got Kim Burrell, so it might be, 2 more. Because this is the kind of stuff in 2017 I'm going to challenge y'all. Not to listen, but to do. Do research before you start giving these people $500,000 and monies for schools that never materialize, and they from one end to another, and all these great ideas. You know what it starts to look like? It starts to look like that. What is it? State Farm commercial where the older fisherman has got that fishing pole and he's going, look, almost got you. This is for the school. Yeah, this is for the campus. This is for the parent initiative. Almost got you. Okay, this is for the Black United Nations. Okay. The man has got all these brilliant ideas and no plan to implement them. You sit around and talk about some more shit. In the meantime, this man got almost $500,000, $250,000. And y'all talking about what the hell is waiting on the school? I've been hearing about the school since 2004, 5, at least 2000, at least since 2007, at least. Absolutely. And maybe before that. When I met Umar, I never heard of Ifantunde. He billed himself as Umar Abdullah Johnson. The same person that is billed himself as an Arab that has the same degree and credentials that he has from the same university. I got a problem with that. I have a serious problem with that. And the sad part about it is we are constantly being taken advantage of. I don't want to hear nothing else about no white man. I don't want to hear nothing else about we got to get together. We got to do this. We got to do it. We don't got to do a damn thing. All I can need to do is get away from people that don't think. If you don't think, get the hell away from me. I don't care what color you are. If you don't have a capacity to think, Because the only people that I excuse is children. If you are grown up and you're not exercising your right to think and to do research on people, and you following emotionally, then you just no different than the slave on the plantation. All somebody got to do is come and give you a good emotional sermon, and you're off to the races. And Umar's got a good habit of coming in and insulting people and saying they're frauds. But when the same stuff is turned around on him, then he blocks you, then he calls you names, or he does, and see, again, I know what the best of narcissists look like. And y'all keep on messing with them. You're going to find out. You're going to find out. Unfortunately, it's not what I want, but I'm along the school of Dr. Neely Fuller. Black people are poisonous. We are so damn poisonous that it ain't funny. We're poisonous. Oh, I know how we got that way. And now we're pitiful because we always want somebody to do the work for us. We just want to be led. You better find the God in you, the leader in you, and you better exercise it. Because if you brought any children into this world, then you have an obligation to find out stuff on your own, not what somebody told you, not to regurgitate what I tell you or what Umar tells you. If you lay down and brought some children in this world, then you have a responsibility to look for yourself so it can sink down into your amygdala. No, so it can sink down into your brain, okay? The part that regurgitates, right? All right. So you can keep bringing it back up. And it's learned by you, not nobody else giving it to you. Because that's the quickest, laziest way to learn something. The way that it sticks is when you read it. Okay? Remember that. Because it touches the different part of the brain. And again, if any of y'all want to really find out about Umar Johnson, I suggest that y'all start talking to the Frederick Douglass family. And I don't believe that Terrence Bailey is a fraud. I don't believe that at all. Because everybody that comes down on Umar with the truth, of course, just like the great narc that he is, he's going to slither away. And I just had to say it. I'm sorry. It had to be done. We got to wake up. 2017, wake your ass up. I'm out.